Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click subscribe below. This is week 14 now of our Thursday night triple threat episode, and we're back to a karaoke punishment. I will apologize ahead of time because I wrote the song in about 2 minutes, so make sure you stick around and listen for that.
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Coming to you live from TCP Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, Jay Up and James Up are your co-hosts for everything fantasy football related. So sit back, crack a cold one, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Triple Coverage Podcast. It is week 14 of our Thursday night triple threat episode, and I am your co-host, Jay Up. You can find me on Twitter at TripleCodeJ, here with my co-host, my brother James.
What's up, guys?
And you can find him on Twitter at TripleCodeJames.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I looked it up to see what was going on with the rest of the season, and we obviously have this week 14 Thursday night, and there's a week 15, and that's the last Thursday night.
Correct.
After that, it's Saturdays and Sundays and Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, Monday, fun day. So we have two. We'll figure out what we get to in week 16 if we do just like the Saturday, because it's not just one Saturday game; it's a couple of Saturday games.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like the Saturday Sundays.
yeah, we'll figure that out as it goes. But the only problem with that is that we do this on Thursday night. It would be a Saturday game, so we'll work out the kinks later to keep this episode going. But as for today, we're gonna go over last Thursday game, which was Thanksgiving. So there's 3 of them. We'll kind of give a quick recap on those. And then we'll do next week's game, which is also going to be a Cowboys game.
Yeah,
like
Cowboys get 2 Thursdays in a row.
They're
trying to help them out.
Right.
Even what out?
So, like our time
out?
off. So we went from Dallas to Chicago, but it's not a short week because we play Thursday, and then we'll get like an extra.
Right. Everyone else,
bye,
every other one of these teams gets a short week.
Well, sorry.
Well, no, Chicago.
Oh, there you go, Chicago. There you go. They play in Detroit, and they get to go home to Chicago.
All right. Well, first game, Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. Are you surprised by anything that you saw?
No, I'm actually not.
I actually was. David Blau came out and looked like a damn stud the first half. Like he was throwing. But again, yeah, Kenny Golladay on a double move in the first quarter, and he was wide open. Like I've never seen somebody so wide open. So it's not like he was gunslinging all over the place and squeezing balls into tight windows. He was literally wide open.
But the one thing I will say about David Blau is that when you watch him play, he was pretty accurate.
He was good.
He wasn't throwing the ball at people's feet, at the players' feet. He was pretty accurate, and that was the one thing coming out of college they said about him was that he was very accurate. He wasn't so much a gunslinger.
He looked better than Jeff Driscoll.
I thought he did too.
So now that Jeff Driscoll's on the IR, how confident do you feel playing David Blau?
I actually love David Blau in Superflex leagues. If it's a 1 quarterback league, I'm not starting this guy, but in Superflex, I actually like him.
Who does Detroit play?
Detroit, whoever it is, he's going to be good for 3 quarters.
I don't know because they play at Minnesota, but they're like 10-point dogs, so
so they'll be behind.
Yeah, I don't know. Tread lightly there. But Trubisky finally threw 3 touchdowns. What do you think about that?
The one thing I took away from this game was that, once again, like we talked about it actually over text message on Thanksgiving, is that Detroit looked solid for 3 quarters. At the end of the 3rd quarter, it was 17-17. It was anybody's game, and Detroit couldn't get it done in the end. It was, once again, Chicago ends up outscoring them 7-3 in the 4th quarter, and Chicago wins the game.
Correct. So, yeah, I agree. I'm done watching Detroit Lions. I only watch them for the first 3 quarters, and I turn it off, and I don't want to see how we lose. I don't want to spend too much time on these games, but I have 2 questions real quick. Bo Scarborough, is he a starter for your playoff run? Do you feel confident for the next 3 games at Minnesota, Tampa Bay, at Denver? Is it a spot start where maybe you play him against Tampa, but not against Minnesota? All 3 teams are kind of tough matchups.
No, that Tampa Bay game is a trap for him because they give up the 2nd least fantasy points at running back positions
because everyone throws on him.
He's not a pass catcher.
Correct. So you have at Minnesota, Tampa, Denver. Those are 3 kind of tough matchups for him. How confident are you starting Bo Scarborough in your first round of the playoffs?
I am confident if it's a flex spot. I am not confident in starting him anywhere near an RB1 or RB2. If you had a guy get hurt, say you had James Conner, who was your RB1, get hurt, and now you're trying to replace him with Bo Scarborough, don't feel confident about that. But if it's in a flex spot, I think he can get you that 8 to 10 point mark.
Okay. And that's if he doesn't find his way in the end zone. If he does, then he's going to have a decent day. And then the other side, David Montgomery. Are you confident in starting him for a playoff run? Because I can't seem to figure this guy out. When I don't play him, he goes off. When I do play him, he has a dud. I just can't tell when to play him. And again, he's playing Detroit. So this is one of the weeks I was pretty confident, but he only ran for 75 yards. If he wouldn't have got that touchdown, if he didn't, he would have had 8 points, 9 points again. Like, not even playable, not even 10. 2 catches, 12 yards, what is that, 3 points? He had exactly 10 points if he didn't get that touchdown. So now he gets a touchdown, he gets you about 17, 18, depending on how your league is. His next 3 games, though, Jay, versus Dallas. This is at home on Thursday night against Dallas, then at Green Bay, and then Kansas City. I think he's got a very easy schedule week 15, 16 at Green Bay and Kansas City.
It actually gets easier. So you have Dallas, who's like middle of the road, and then Green Bay's a little bit easier,
and then
Kansas City's really bad.
So I actually love David Montgomery going forward. It sucks to have to rely on a rookie running back for your playoff run because I'm not a big fan of that, but he just hasn't been that consistent. So tread lightly with David Montgomery. Again, if David Montgomery's in your flex, I love it. If he's your RB2, it's spotty.
A little sketched out.
Okay, next game.
I also want to mention Anthony Miller, too, in that.
Oh, Anthony Miller is trending up.
Getting a ton of targets along with Allen Robinson. So if they're going to be behind, let Trubisky throw, and these guys are just going to keep on eating up the targets.
I agree.
The next game, Buffalo Bills at the Dallas Cowboys. Bills win this one 26-15.
How were they such a big underdog?
The one thing I was surprised, we talked about that.
Yeah, 6.5 points is way too much. We said 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, 3.5, somewhere in that range. I said this is a game that Dallas had every opportunity to win.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that it's not just like I've been saying it was Garrett for a while. I'm starting to think it's not just Garrett. I think
it's the whole team.
It's not even the team. It's the play calling. Like when you watch it now, like Kellen Moore, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because it's his first year, so I don't expect him to come in and just light it up. But he's
the first 3
so
weeks,
many mistakes now.
But Jay, the first 3 weeks they were playing such crap teams that everyone was like, "Damn, this is what our new offense is going to look like." With Kellen Moore, like, wow, like Prescott's throwing for 400 yards and Zeke's running for 120, and like everyone was super pumped. Like you have to admit that. I'm not saying Dallas fans were throwing in anybody's face, but you guys were like, "Hell yeah, we're finally starting to move guys around. We're moving Cooper around. We're moving this guy around. We're using Tony Pollard a little bit." Like they were doing a lot of different things the first 3 weeks that made the Dallas Cowboy fan base very excited. Now, what's changed? They're playing tougher competition.
No, it's like when it's close games, the play calling and the time management are just so bad. It's like I don't know what, like this goes back, like the New England game was bad play calling at the very end, and then on that 4th and 1 when they tried to roll out Zeke against New England, it didn't work. Dak threw it at his feet. It was almost like Zeke didn't run the full route, or I don't know what I was thinking. And they did the same thing against Buffalo. They got down in the red zone. And he got to a 4th and 2, and instead of just running the ball and hammering it with Zeke, they swing him out for like a little side pass, and he turns around and kind of stops instead of running the full route, and the ball goes right at his feet again. So it's like it's the same play that just didn't work in New England. Like you guys didn't practice it because it was the same exact outcome. It's just the play calling, and then also going for a field goal instead of going for a touchdown in some situations. I just don't get it, and I know it's Kellen Moore's first year, so like I said, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
It's not his first year with the team. Like
it's not his first year with the team.
He knows the
backup quarterback 2 years ago.
But he knows the personnel. That's all I'm saying. He knows the personnel pretty damn well. Like he knows where guys should be. The only new guy on the team really is Randall Cobb. Everyone else, you have the Jason Wittens, you have the Dax, you have the Zekes, you have the Mari Coopers. Like they were all there last year. So it's not like we have all this new talent coming in like an Odell Beckham and Kareem Hunt and all these guys like for Cleveland, where you have to figure out where guys are good. Like he should already know that.
Yeah, I just wish that the Cowboys would fire Garrett midseason. And I know that's not the type of team they are. They're not going to do that. So now my only hope is that they honestly don't win the NFC East. Because this is what I don't want to happen.
Philly can't even beat Miami.
I know, but this is what I don't want to happen. I don't want it to be to where Dallas wins the East, and let's just say they get a favorable matchup in the first round and they get lucky and win. Now, Jerry Jones may change his mind and be like, you know what, Garrett did save his job. I don't think there's anything that Jason Garrett can do for this season unless they win the Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboy fan base to be happy. If they win the Super Bowl, I still think the Dallas Cowboy fan base would probably still call for his head to get fired. If they go one round of the playoffs, I don't think that changes your mind, David's mind, any of my Dallas Cowboy fans, friends that are fans. But will it change?
It's not going to change.
Will it change Jerry Jones's mind?
He won't. If 200,000 fans They're going to start signing petitions to get him fired. I guarantee it. Like, that's how Dallas fans are. Amari Cooper finally had a bounce-back game after his 0 catches. He had 8 catches for 85 yards. Yep. Cole Beasley, Jay, is wide receiver number 13 the last 4 games. He is averaging 16 points a game the last 4, and him and John Brown seem to be very steady guys. Cole Beasley, John Brown are guys now that have to be in your lineups all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Josh Allen will make those mistakes every once in a while with the, inaccuracy will come back and haunt him and, throw a pick. But for the most part, like, he's keying on those 2 guys in the pass game, and it's looking really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move on to the next game here. Dallas still owns the first place in that because
Buffalo won 26-15, by the way.
Yes, we said that at the very start. Next last game was New Orleans Saints and Atlanta Falcons. Saints won this game 26-18. This one was actually kind of boring at the start for me, and then it got really, really spicy at the very end.
Yeah, this is my bad beat of the week here.
Yeah, this was your bad beat of the week with the over-under.
16 teaser, and then I realized after I bet it, because I usually don't look at the teaser, I just assume it's 6 points either way. But the over-under for this game was 48.5. They gave me the under-over at 44 as a 6-point teaser. So if anything, it should have been 42 or 43 at the worst 43.5.
That's weird.
Somehow it's 44. That's only 4.5 points if I'm doing the calculation correctly. And as I put it in, I'm like, oh, whatever. If it lands on, 44.5. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
44.5. So not even 44. So it's 4-point teaser, even though it was really a 6-point teaser that I bet. If you live in Vegas, you know what that means. But I was very irritated that they went for a 2-point conversion, missed it, then kicked a field goal instead of going for the touchdown. Turns out all their 5 teams come in. I have over 44.5. It lands on 44 for a $300 6-teamer that I lost. So That was nice. That was a great start to my Thanksgiving, or at least tail end of it, because that was about 8 o'clock at night when I found that out. So I started drinking a lot more after that. But I was very irritated also, Jay, of how much the Saints are using Taysom Hill. Yeah. And it's not even a usage thing. It's we're inside the 10-yard lines. We have to get Taysom Hill the ball somehow. Let him throw it, let him run it, let him catch it. Somehow the ball's going to Taysom Hill. And it's like, you can't play this guy. You can't play him. But you have guys like Kamara and Michael Thomas and Jared Cook and Latavius Murray who don't even sniff the ball inside the red zone anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing that bothers me too, because I have Kamara in 3 different leagues, and now he's
dropped my phone. 7. I was so mad.
That was dropping nuggets. 7 straight games now for Kamara without a touchdown. 7 straight. Mm-hmm. You have one of the biggest playmakers, and they use him quite a bit in the game. But I feel like because it's working, because Sean Payton has this shiny toy with Taysom Hill that he can plug in there. It's like, don't the defenses realize that when Taysom Hill comes in the game, no matter where he's lining up, that it's going to be some kind of a trick play involving Taysom Hill, whether it's going to be a wildcat or whether he's going to pitch it to Kamara or whether he's going to just take it himself or a pass play to Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is going to get the ball if he comes into the game, defenses. Like, what do you not understand about that? As soon as this guy walks onto the field, someone better look for this guy because it's a trick play coming to him somehow.
And somehow he still gets open.
And it still keeps working. And so what happens when it works? You keep using it.
Well, until they stop it.
It's at the expense of Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, all these other guys, even Drew Brees sometimes, because Taysom Hill will come in and throw a touchdown to Josh Hill.
No, that's the most irritating thing is because I have Drew Brees, and when I see Taysom Hill back there, I'm like, great. So now they're going to do the Wildcat, or they're going to let him throw, and I'm going to get cheaped out of a touchdown here. Even though it's a passing touchdown, I'm getting screwed out of it. Perfect. What about this? My entire playoff run comes down to this week right now, week 14. I have to win, like most of you out there that's listening. I have Julio Jones and Austin Hooper, who are both questionable, that did not play last week. Hooper didn't play the week before that either. Do you think Julio Jones and Austin Hooper, both or one, is going to play or not play?
I would bet on Julio Jones. I thought he was going to play this last week, to be honest with you.
I feel confident with Julio as well. Austin Hooper, I'm a little worried about.
I think I give him a 50-50 shot. Like, I think that when they said that he was practicing last week, I was like, there's no way he's playing this week.
Because it's a short week.
Right.
Now you get 10 more days.
Right. So I think for me, Austin Hooper's 50-50. For Julio Jones, I would put him more like at 70-30 that he plays.
So Austin Hooper, are you playing Austin Hooper, even though if he does play hurt?
If he plays, yes. If he plays, then yes.
Okay.
I mean, he was the number 1 tight end in all of football when he got hurt.
So Austin Hooper coming off an injury or Vance McDonald against Arizona Cardinals? I can't play both. That's not an option.
Okay, if you can't play both, then I would go with Vance McDonald because at least you know he's healthy and he's going against Arizona Cardinals.
Like
they don't guard the tight end.
Putting up 1 to 3 points every week.
They don't guard the tight end. He's going to be wide open all day.
Well, who's the backup tight end there? I'll bet you Gentry or whatever the hell his name. I bet you somebody
Zach
else.
Gentry?
I'll bet you somebody else takes a touchdown away from Vance McDonald. They hate
it'll
him.
be like a 1 yard, touchdown.
He'll have 3 of them. The backup tight end, but Vance will be blocking.
And it'll go with the whole narrative of Arizona not guarding the tight end.
Right.
Still.
Exactly, but not my guy. Okay, so with all the lineups that we picked for the wheel of punishment,
Right.
it came close. I think I won by 14 points. You had Julio Jones, who ended up not playing. So I don't really know how I feel about that. It wouldn't have been a guaranteed win because who would have known who you were going to pick? Like, I mean...
I lost by less than 14.
Yeah. Right, but I'm saying you could have picked who knows. You know what I mean? Like, at that point. Like, there were so many other teams and options. If it was a regular Thursday night game, I would have said, okay, you didn't have Julio, so I'll give you, Calvin Ridley or something. But I already had Calvin Ridley, I think.
Right. What it came down to was with all the guys that were left, it would have been, honestly, between Galladay and Allen Robinson. Those are the 2 guys that I would have gone with, and that would have been the morning game.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have picked John Brown. I didn't like him as much this week because I knew Byron Jones was going to be on him, which you saw Beasley. I wouldn't have picked Beasley, so that was out of the question. That wasn't one of my choices. And I wouldn't have picked Marvin Jones either. I didn't like his matchup, but I would have picked either Galladay or Allen Robinson.
Galladay would have got you the win. What about Allen Robinson?
Allen Robinson also would have got me the win. He scored 20. So either one of those guys would have. We didn't even say, hey, if Julio plays, can I get the other guy? And we've done every week. We've done that when a guy's been questionable. That's how sure I was that Julio was going to play. That I didn't even say, hey, if he doesn't play, let's give me this guy as a backup.
Even during the day on Thanksgiving, he really wasn't ruled out until about 2 hours before the game, and you still didn't think about it.
I didn't think about it. I didn't even realize I lost the bet until yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't realize until this morning.
So that was rough. So that's why I said for the punishment was karaoke. That's what it landed on.
You have it set up?
I have it set up. It's going to be rough because I literally wrote this song in 2 minutes.
Okay.
So not a whole lot of the lyrics are changed, but because Julio Jones is the one that screwed me by sitting out, I wrote a song about Julio Jones.
Am I playing it?
Yeah, you're going to have to play it just close to your microphone here off of this.
Okay.
And then I will sing it. Let me get it pulled up here on
Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Right, that one?
On YouTube.
Who's that, Simon and Garfunkel?
Yeah, it's just Paul Simon, I think.
No, Simon and Garfunkel. So it says there. Is a speaker on the top? All right, we ready?
Yeah, but you'll have to turn it around so I can see it somehow. Flip it upside down or something, just so I can see the, yeah, that works out. You can hit play.
Ready?
Yep. Well, the word came down and his shoulder was out and he ran to the medical tent. When I found out, I began to shout and I started an investigation. Should be against the law. Should be against the law. What we all saw should be against the law. But then I looked down and I spit on the ground every time his name was mentioned. And I said, oi, I'll never pick that boy. I'm gonna stick him in the house of detention. Well, I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on my way. I'm taking my time and I'll take the loss. Goodbye to Jones, the king of Atlanta. Seeing Julio Jones down on the sideline. Seeing Julio Jones down on the sideline. There you go. Sorry, that was a rough one, guys. I apologize about that.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, if you're old enough to know who Simon and Garfunkel is, you probably liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could hit the high notes like Paul Simon, but if I did, I wouldn't be on this podcast.
What note was it?
Or a Bellman. The Goodbye to Jones.
Goodbye to Jones.
Yeah.
That one.
He's like, Goodbye to Jones.
And you know what? It's early in the morning here. We're in Las Vegas, and it's like 9 a.m. So, oh no, damn, it's only 11:15, baby.
We're rolling.
All right, so let's gonna move on. Punishment served to this coming Thursday night, and it is the Dallas Cowboys at the Chicago Bears. The Dallas Cowboys are favored on the road by 2.5 points. The over/under is 43. Right away, I wrote down all the defensive stats because it looks like it's going to be a defensive game, but Chicago's defense hasn't been the same as it was in the past. But defensive-wise, points allowed, Jay. Dallas is 9th in the league in points allowed. Chicago Bears 4th in the league in points allowed. Total yards given up, Dallas is 8th, Chicago is 7th, just a little bit better. Versus the pass, Dallas is 8th against the pass, Chicago's 9th against the pass. All so far top 10 defensive stats. Versus the run, Dallas Cowboys 16th versus the run. This is the first one in any category that they're not in the top 10 in. Chicago Bears, though, only giving up 97 yards on the ground. That's 8th. So they're in the top 9 of everything. Chicago, Dallas, the only thing you can do on them is run a little bit, and that's why I kind of like David Montgomery in this spot if you do need a flex guy in your lineups for your playoffs. On offense, though, it's a huge discrepancy. Okay, and this is why Dallas is favored on the road, Jay. You have Dallas total yards of offense. They are first in the NFL, 443 yards a game on total offense. Chicago Bears 30th. So you have the best offense versus the third worst, offense. They're only getting 299 yards of total offense, Jay.
Right.
Not even 300 yards. So first versus 30th in total yards. Passing yards, Dallas is 2nd. Chicago Bears 27th. Running yards, Dallas is 8th. Chicago Bears 28th. So again, you can't really, I don't know how these two teams are going to score, but somehow when you look at defensive stats and offensive stats, you look and you think, man, how are they going to get this? How are they going to get this total of 43 points? And then you always have some kind of broken down play, defensive touchdown, or special teams touchdown. Always.
Well, the same thing happened with the Thanksgiving game.
100%.
When we said there's no way these teams are going over 46.5, and it didn't. It went under.
Right.
That's the only ticket I hit on Thanksgiving was with the Bills and under.
What about the Detroit Lions? I mean, the over-under in that game was so low, but they had 17 or 21 points in the first 6 minutes of the game, and then nothing for 2.5 quarters.
Right.
And then the very last quarter, like you said, it was 11 points they scored, which put it over. That last touchdown.
It barely put it over.
That's what I'm saying. Went over by a touchdown, but it was 20-something points in the first couple minutes of the game.
And
all on fluky, the cornerback makes the wrong move on a double move, wide open touchdown, and then all of a sudden it was all long touchdowns.
Well, same thing happened with the Dallas Buffalo game when they had that trick play when John Brown threw. It was his first career pass attempt, and he threw a touchdown to Devin Singletary, and that was a trick play that got them 7 points right before halftime. So. Stuff like that happens. You think it's going to be this big defensive battle, and it ends up being a defensive battle, but then some kind of fluky trick play happens, and it can mess with the over-under.
Right.
In this game, though, 42.5 doesn't seem like it's that high. You know what I mean? I think of a high scoring, it'd be 46, 47, 48 in that range. To me, I kind of the whole narrative of Dallas not being able to beat a team with a winning record doesn't come into play here because guess what? Chicago Bears are 6-6 also.
Okay.
They're 3-3 at home, and the Cowboys are 3-3 away.
The battle of 6 and 6 is the battle of 500
are identical. 6-6, and they're both 3-3.
The battle of mediocrity is what this game should be called.
So what I'll probably end up doing is waiting to the very last minute and seeing who the public bets, and then bet the opposite. If the line moves to 2.5, I may end up taking the Cowboys, or the line, which I know won't, but if the line goes to 3 and say the VIG goes up, I may take the Bears on it. So I'm going to wait till the last minute on this game because this game is a mirror image of everything.
I like the Cowboys by 6.
I like the over. I like over 42.5.
Dallas minus, it's 42.5 now? I got a 43 in here. That's going to go up and down. We didn't pick our teams.
We can do that now, though.
So we'll do that live. You actually have the first pick if you want to look at the players.
Yeah, I have them written down. I'll go Zeke with the first pick.
Oh, shock. Okay, wow. Total shock by me. Hang on. Let me recover from that. I will go, I guess, Amari Cooper and how many times am I going to let David Montgomery screw me? I'll take Amari Cooper and Dak. So that gives Jay Zeke, Trubisky, and who do you want as your third as your receiver?
I'll go. I was gonna go Gallup just to have. No, I'll go Allen Robinson. I'll go Allen.
Of course you are. All right, so for Jay, Mitch Trubisky, Ezekiel Elliott, Allen Robinson. For myself, I have Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and David Montgomery. All right, good luck to you, sir. Anything else you want to add to the Thursday episode? Dallas Bears?
Nothing that stood out to me. This is to me, this is going to be one of those games where this could come down to whoever has the ball last.
Who do you trust fantasy-wise on Dallas?
Dak.
Zeke?
I don't even know if I trust Zeke to get you like he hasn't had one of those big blow up games where he gets you like 30 points. Like he hasn't had one of those.
It's like they're holding him back for a playoff run that they might not even be in.
It's like he'll have games where he's over 100 yards rushing, but he hasn't had a game where he's like 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Or like 5 catches for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's getting you like good stats, but not like number 1 running back stats. So it's like he's still a top 5 guy, but he's not.
You see that Christian McCaffrey right now is almost 100 full points ahead of the next running back.
Right.
He's RB1 by like 90-something points.
They're using him like a running back 1. Like he's getting 2 touchdowns and he's getting a bunch of catches and he's getting rushing.
It's amazing how much his body is taking, and like how many hits and carries and snaps.
And Zeke hasn't had one of those games yet, so I don't fully trust Zeke in this game. I trust Dak because
what about Cooper?
It seems like whether they're ahead or they're losing, Dak will get his points regardless. Like even if he starts off slow, he ends up getting his points in the end. Like against Buffalo, same thing. Like he had a really bad first half as far as like fantasy points, not as far as like gameplay. He had a fumble and an interception, but as far as like fantasy points, towards the end he just started lighting it up because they were down, and so he started getting a little bit of garbage time. Cooper's to me he's a toss up because he should be the best receiver out there, like by name.
Yeah,
he definitely is.
Sometimes they key in on Gallup, and sometimes it's Randall Cobb will get 2 touchdowns. So
correct. So you just don't know. It just and that's why Dak gets his. Like Dak is the best option. The best option.
And then for the Bears, David Montgomery, you feel confident starting him for your playoff?
I feel confident starting David Montgomery.
He needs a touchdown.
It's not even David Montgomery. It's Nagy I don't trust.
But Montgomery's good, but he needs a touchdown to have a really good week. If not, I can see Montgomery running for 68 yards, 65 yards, somewhere in that range, maybe getting you 2 catches for like 20 yards, and he's going to get you about 9 points. If he gets into the end zone, now you're talking 15, 16 points, and he may have just won you your first round playoff run.
Yeah, the other thing I want to see too is if Leighton Vander Esch is back because Sean Lee's also questionable, and so if Leighton Vander Esch is out again and Sean Lee gets banged up, the linebacking core is going to be
dismantled,
rough, which should also be good for David Montgomery.
All right, ready to crack one?
Let's crack it.
Crack it.